So, first I'll give you guys a little background about Screw Attack, how it started, and then I'll kind of talk about some of the things that, that I think are pretty important to building a website and making your website rock. Okay, remember, I'm remembering faces. I didn't look down for a reason. All right. Okay, so Screw Attack started in February of 2006. When me and a buddy came together, and I was like, hey dude, there's no video game radio shows out there. And at the time, I didn't know what a podcast was. And upon further review, there was a million video game podcasts out there. So Screw Attack started in February 2006 with one show called Side Scrollers, which is our weekly podcast we do. And the idea was to have a website that's a little different than everyone else's. But it actually didn't initially start that way. We were like, let's have a website, let's do this radio show, and let's take over the world with our incredible ability to talk. Turns out that podcasting, like the audio format, there's not, it's kind of hard to, podcasts aren't really listened to in comparison to watching video. And we learned that later on. After doing some videos, we're like, people watch this more than they listen to our podcast, so let's just do video. So Screw Attack started in February 2006. We're going on a 3-year anniversary now, coming up next month, which is really, really cool because a lot of websites, they don't last 3 months, let alone, if you were to tell me, back then that we would still be going and Screw Attack would be live and actually profitable, I'd be like, that's awesome. I mean, I honestly hoped it would be like that. And I believed it would, but just for it to be where it's at, it's really, really cool. Because it's like a 1 in a million shot to start a website and for it to grow and actually turn into a business per se. So in our 3-year on our 3-year anniversary, we'll have grown to we get roughly between 5 and 7.5 million page views a month, and we're generating, we get about between 35 and 55,000 users a day on Screw Attack. So we do pretty good. We have a really strong community. Above all else, that's the most important thing to us, is our G1s, our community. It will always be, and that's the core of kind of what Screw Attack does. So how did we get to kind of where we're at? I would say the one thing that separates Screw Attack from a lot of the sites out there, different than on IGN, different than even a Game Trailers or a pick a website, is that we don't take gaming too seriously. We don't take our we take our job seriously because we love what we do. We take it we work very hard at what we do, but at the end of the day, games are games, and they're called games for a reason, and you're supposed to have fun with them, and we just now started doing reviews. Just started, actually mentioned this yesterday in a panel, but we just started doing reviews recently, and it just started becoming a recent part of our actual lineup of the different shows on Screw Attack. But when we started doing these reviews, we were like, well, what can we make them different than everybody else? And we always try to find that unique spin on a different take on how to make our stuff different, whether it's in one of our video game vaults or whatever, it's a one frame like little hidden thing that you gotta like go back and watch because you don't know if you caught it or not, or just something, or the way we write it, or just being honest, because a lot of people I think aren't really honest. People are like, oh, we're extremely honest and we will tell you the truth about everything, and they're feeding at the corporate trough, and they got publishers hooking them up with cash and stuff, and that's not going to happen on Screw Attack. It never will. It's pretty retarded that companies do that. But so there's several things. Obviously, our consistency. I like to think our quality of our content is pretty good. There's a few things we do to our content. Like I said, that just like the little touches. One little thing that we've always done that I really think is I don't know, I really like how it looks, but I never really talked about was when we import our game footage. This is so stupid, I don't even know why I'm talking about this, but when we import our game footage, when you import your game footage and you got your video game Usually, the old school system, there's a big black bar around the screen when you import it. We always stretch that out to where the game footage is the full screen, because you don't want to look at a giant black bar. But I don't know, it's just stupid little stuff like that we do to, I don't know if anybody notices, but it makes me feel better, so we do anyway. We always take pride in kind of listening to our core community. Like I said, the G1, the Screw Attack community is who we produce content for. Yes, we work for game trailers. Yes, we work for IGN. Yes, we are partners with YouTube, but we don't create content for those sites and their users. We create content for our users, and we create content for those sites because they pay us to create content for those sites. But the people who truly get like the jokes and the little quirky stuff we do are the people who come to Screw Attack on a day-to-day basis and see the other original content we produce on a day-to-day basis. So if we're going to listen to anybody, we're going to listen to our community, because if we were listening to GT or we listen to IGN, not to say their communities are bad or anything, but they just don't really get kind of what Screw Attack's all about. They think Screw Attack is they don't even know we have a website. They don't even know ScrewAttack.com exists. They just think we're part of game trailers, or we're part of IGN or whatever, and they're like, oh, game trailers is funny, where's Handsome Tom? And we get that a lot. But so we listen to, we listen to the G1. That's the most important thing. So we try to listen to the feedback on a day-to-day basis and all that fun stuff. So I think one of the most important things about doing what you do if you're going to start your own website is knowing that you're going to bust your ass, and you're going to be up till 3 and 4 and 5 o'clock in the morning just learning, stuff that nobody's going to see, but it's going to help you in the long run. It's got to help you. The last 3 years since day one, since launch to where we're at now, like, it's been like, it's OTV, it's on-the-job training constantly. It's like, okay, what am I going to learn today? I learned something new about running Screw Attack or having a business every day. Like I'm like, wow, I'm stupid. Like every day, because there's always new stuff to learn, which I'm sure you guys know I'm an idiot. But one of the most important things to me, though, personally, is whenever we've expanded a lot in the last year. We got our staff has grown from essentially 3 guys to 8 now in the last year, and it's been really, really cool to see it grow. But one of the most important things that I tell people, just because it's something I've always done, and it really, 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 really helps, is the ability to carry around one of these and another one of these and write your stuff down, because it's so silly, because I'll be walking around or I'll be laying in bed and I'll just think of something, and then I have nothing to write with. But it's you always need to be writing down your ideas, and because you never know, you'll be like, oh, I'll remember that. No, you won't. You won't remember it. And I never have. I never do. And so I always write them down, and then I get a laundry list of probably 75, 80 things that I want to do on Screw Attack that are just written down that we haven't got around to doing. Just because you never know when something's going to come up. It's pretty rad. So I guess there's the basics of very, 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 very basics of running a website. I guess from a more business standpoint, when you start your own website, like I started a website with zero knowledge of how to code and how to do all that, the HTML stuff, and I mean that's like learning another language. I mean, if you can speak Spanish and tell someone where the library is in Russian or whatever, it's like the exact same thing. You are essentially learning in another language, and I went into Screw Attack with zero knowledge. I was literally reading out of a book on how to code, and fortunately, after we launched, we had a friend who totally redesigned our website from the ground up, and the website, while it was like, wow, this is the greatest thing ever, and it still sucked, but it was better than what we had before. And the website we have right now is a good site we redesigned back in May, but it's not the website you're going to see in 6 months and 8 months, because we're going to be going through another redesign here pretty soon, because it's not quite what I think our community deserves. So